think it was one of the proudest gigs I've ever played. You know what I mean? Like that kind of you know, like, oh, we've done it. You know, against the odds. You know, like if you put musicians together and filmed it and said, right, in less than a year, we want you to be on stage with an hour's set of material, I'm not sure you'd necessarily get it. So it kind of felt like a testament of the work that we'd done as a band and how kind of quickly me and Aaron had bonded and started writing. But that night it was incredible, man.
It was a fun show, you know what I mean? Like everybody had built each other up to it. We'd been working for about a year, writing songs, building it and everything. And I think it's just kind of where everybody went to kind of lay it all out and show people what we were about. And everybody was there to make a statement with it.
So that morning, we set off. We were quite far away. We stayed a few hours away from London, so it was an early morning, which is already kind of off to a bad start. Me and Jack were the kind of cleanest of the lot. Like, we shower every day, whereas the rest of the lads tend to kind of cover up with patchouli and try and get on with the day like that. Whereas, yeah, I'm not really like that. So we were told there was a shower at the venue. We can have a shower at the venue, so we were like, great. That means we get a bit of a sleep in. We don't have to shower at the hotel. We can shower when we get there. So got there, had immediate problems just parking because it's central Camden. It's an absolute nightmare. Luckily, we managed to get the van in just next to the venue, which is a miracle for London, really.
We got there and we set up and we just, you know, we moved in, man. We took, you know what I mean? We took our incense and our rugs and we set the dressing room up before we set a stage up.
3 flights, I think, of like really super tight staircase, which is just never, ever what you want at a gig, especially when you've got keys and that kind of thing that are like, you can't do anything about that. They're just long and heavy and have to go up one way or the other. So that was immediately fun. I think we pretty much just showed up and we were like, hi, we're the band. We're just going to load in. Like, there was no sound text or anything there. We were just like, let's just get it in. Got loaded in, got set up. There was like maybe 2 or 3 feet short just on the kind of length of the stage. So poor Johnny was kind of dancing around sort of side to side in front of me, because like, it was one of those shows where I was like, yeah, I could potentially like set up as far back as humanly possible and have like my back up against this metal grate thing at the back. But I was like, I need to feel a little bit comfortable, because otherwise I'm just going to be stressed that, you know, my arms can't go where they need to and I'm just going to be hitting things. It's all just going to go wrong. So I gave myself like a little bit of leeway, which unfortunately kind of ate into Johnny's groove space. So that was already fun. And then I think that was possibly before monitors got involved, and then monitors came on stage and, you know, took up even more of that space. But yeah, there was a photo shoot that occurred at some point in the day. I don't know how that came about, to be honest. I think Tom just came into the room and was like, guys, the photographer's here. We were like, what do you mean the photographer's here? And we've not heard anything about a photographer. And he was like, no, I've organised this photo shoot. It was like, all right, like, I haven't washed in you know, today, which is my least favorite scenario, is to be like on camera when I haven't washed. So when I did that photo shoot, I had a hat on, which was covered up the kind of greasy hair situation. That was fun. Then I went to get a shower. So that was probably the least favorite part of my day, because there was not a shower curtain. So I was just taking a shower, sort of trying not to spill all the water onto this tiled floor, which I then did because I was having a shower, and had to mop it up with my own underwear, which was beautiful. And the least rock and roll thing that you can do before going on stage at Camden Assembly is mop up the floor with underwear. And luckily, it wasn't the ones I was planning on wearing that night, so I'd already worn the underwear, so, you know, I wasn't going on stage sopping wet. But
about 20 minutes before the doors opened, I went downstairs, and it was dead. And I remember thinking, oh shit, no one cares. No one's coming. And then I went upstairs and started doing all the kind of pre-show stuff that if I get a dressing room, I like to gently warm up and warm drinks and doing some kind of vocal stuff in the dressing room with the boys, like singing all that like old spiritual stuff, you know, like all that like Field Holler Call and Response and all that old blues stuff, man, that we were doing in the dressing room. And then greasing Aaron into his new flares. You know, Tom on one side, me on the other, and Aaron like jumping into him. Squeeze. When we walked out, man, there was a full room. I couldn't believe, like, it was chocker, wasn't it? Like, it was packed, and I was like, "What is going on? This is mad."
I absolutely could not believe how how many people were there.
If I'm playing, I don't really like being in the room beforehand. You know what I mean? Like that might sound like arrogant, but I just don't like it. You know what I mean? It's like, it just, like if you're a substitute about to come on, you wouldn't go and sit on the Gladys Street end before, you know, before Ancelotti waves you on to do a stint on the wing. So yeah, I'd kind of avoided it a little bit. And I couldn't believe it, man. It was just full room of people, all receptive, waiting to hear rock and roll.
Until we arrived at Leeds, I was under the impression that there was maybe going to be 20 people tops. Like, that's like, you know, we've sold about 20 tickets. Cool, right? Okay, that's fine. And then we got to Leeds, and Aaron was like, "Yeah, there's well, pretty much at full capacity. We're gonna have to start taking people off the guest list if they're like maybe not going to come." It was like, if you're either definitely here or you're off the guest list, because there's other people that are definitely going to be there. So that was a pretty stressful way to start the weekend, because I thought it was just going to be a pretty casual affair, and then it was like, no, it's going to be sold out, and then it was. So that was an interesting one, yeah. Just before we went on stage, our support had used like our gear and stuff, so we didn't have to worry about changing cymbals over like you'd normally do at a changeover at a gig. So everything was pretty much right, and we said we're going to walk on stage to Johnny Cash. I don't know if it was Ain't No Grave or God's Gonna Cut You Down, but one of those like super swampy Johnny Cash later Rick Rubin era recordings. And we told the sound guy, we were like, this is what we want. We'll give you the nod, we'll give you a thumbs up, you start the track, we'll walk on the stage. Sorted, great, cool. So it gets to, we set up and get sorted, and then we all head down into the staircase, which is like quite a distance from where the stage actually is, because they don't have a door leading straight into the dressing rooms. So we're stood in this doorway, and we're like, right, it's now or never. Here we go. Let's give them the nod. So Aaron sticks his hand out and goes, and the sound guy's just not looking. So we were like, fantastic. Like, it's just, you know, everything you want to kind of get off on the right foot for your first ever show. So tried again, kind of give it a bit more of like a, you know, bigger gestures to kind of show like, we're ready. And he just was not paying attention. So I think Aaron in the end had to like sprint out into the crowd, which was like, it was a packed room. Like, we struggled to get, you know, between the dressing room door and the stage. So poor Aaron sprinting back to the back of the room, and he was like, we're ready. So he comes back, and then we're waiting. It's like, he's still not played the track. Like, so I get to go back again. Came back, and then eventually the lights went down and the music started. We were like, right, we're on for it. So, and that was all before we'd even played the notes. So that was fun. But yeah, it was incredible atmosphere at that show.
It was such a release, you know, like it was it just kind of felt like we'd beaten the odds a little bit, you know. And I think as well, because when me and Aaron met, like I think we were both really kind of jaded and busted up by it. Like, I was at a very low point. Like, I was ready to kind of bin it all off, step back and reassess and stuff. And I think he was pretty jaded by the whole thing as well. I think he said he felt like with the setup he had as like a kind of power trio, he'd taken it as far as he felt like he really wanted to take it or could take it, and wanted to work with a bigger band and wanted to work with a singer so he could be a guitar player. So I feel like by the time we got on stage in Camden, there was a whole lot of emotion that came flying out, you know. And I think that probably shows. It was rough and ready, man, but it was proper, you know what I mean? It was like proper rock and roll, full of emotion, and it wasn't painting by numbers, you know. It was great, and I fully enjoyed that. And what the thing that I still think about is when we were in the dressing room, I said to the lads, you know, when we get to that last chorus of Shine, let's take it down a little bit. Like, we'd already spoke about doing it, and it was like, should we, shouldn't we? You know, is anyone going to, no one's heard it, you know what I mean? Like, this is the first time we've officially played it live. Like, you know, and I was like, I think they'll go for it, you know. I think everyone will be in a good mood. Like, we fuck it. We enjoyed ourselves with that, didn't we? Like, I think we let that call and response go for quite a while, man.
Shine on, baby. Come on, Keylock, gospel choir, let me hear. Shine, 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 shine on, baby. One more time, everyone. Let it shine, 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 shine on, baby. On the heat now. Shine, 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 shine on, baby.
having everybody just willingly jumping into singing "Shine on Me" the first time you'd ever heard it, man, I thought we're onto a winner here. This will be a single, you know. And I just remember kind of standing there going, "Fucking hell!" Like, so all the heartache of, like, you know, feeling like I was totally done with music, and it was, you know, maybe wasn't for me, and then writing music and all that, getting from Oxford to Liverpool, Stockton, Hastings, you know, whatever we were trying to get together, and all that kind of, like, all those hours on the road and ringing each other up at 2 a.m. and going, "I've got this chorus idea," you know, and all of that kind of just like that big ball of hot energy just all came out, you know. So yeah, man, it was great, man. I remember, like, after the gig, just feeling like this sense of, like, mad elation, you know, like, oh my God, we did it, you know, like it does feel like we beat the odds, you know.
We just blasted music out and we had a good time and we got up and played. You know, I mean, like, it was a fun night, you know what I mean? We had a lot of friends down. I think it just felt like homecoming, you know.
And also what was weird was seeing, like, so, like, the guys from the choir boys, you know, it's like, I've been to see you. What are you doing here? You know, this is weird. And a guy who I absolutely love, man, a guy called G. Lewis, who is Deborah Bonham's keys player and Paul Rogers' keys player when he's got his Free Spirit band. I've known him for a few years, man, and whenever I'm in London, I try and meet up with him and stuff. He came down, and just kind of seeing those faces around the room, man, was like, that was pretty cool, man.
So to pack out a room in central London on a Monday night in winter in January was a bit of a miracle, really. But considering that, again, like, nobody had heard a song that we'd made because it was all brand new material. We weren't playing any of Aaron's solo stuff.
The only thing is, I guess I wish we had a bit more songs and we were a bit more settled in, and we had you know, if we could, you always look back, don't you? You always look forward, like, I could do something different now. If it could have been that, it'd have been like this or whatever. But it's a capture of time, and I think, you know, everybody came away, you know, and had a good time, and that's what it's about. You know what I mean? We were there to bring people together and put on a good rock and roll night. So, you know, everybody joined hands.
Yeah, that was a super special show, just to kind of get out there and show everyone what we've been working on for the past sort of 6 months.
It's fun just to road test the songs. I think Keylock, in the fullness of time, is going to be much more of an album band. And I think when you're playing stuff live, you get a very, very good indication of whether there's any interest in it past the first 30 seconds. And so, yeah, just as a sort of form of, like, hippie market research, I suppose, we're interested to see what we should keep and what we should drop and how things have felt. And I think the knock of it not actually being the kind of gig where someone rushes up with a piece of paper and a pen to say, "Sign here," you know, I think it made us actually consider a lot more the live show, the set, the songs, the need to write more songs, and yeah, and how to not be complacent about the songs. It's very easy, I think, when you've got a song, to just go with the song and that's it. You play it and you play it, and it's all pretty much the same. And what we did was go back to what was then my studio in England and just rip them apart and be absolutely brutal, taking it all apart, chopping out a lot of stuff and sort of souping it up. And I think, you know, it was a blessing in disguise. But the whole week of that tour was very memorable and very good. And I don't think you can truly call yourself a band unless you've lived in a van and been sick on each other. So it was a good beginning. It was a good birth of Keylock.